Welcome to this next section where we're going to delve into the rich tapestry of your life, and we're going to really help you get honest about your life as it stands right now. Now, first off, balance, life balance. I mean, how many times have we heard this work-life balance? It's been drummed into us for a great many years now, and it actually came from a good kind of point of view. It was a positive thing. But if you just strip it back, if you just really step back and look at it, it's work-life balance. So by definition, it's saying that work is not part of your life. And also that work is 50% and every other aspect of your life is the other 50%. Now this is also why then we start thinking, well, it's just like work or personal life, work and family. And we don't really give attention to or credit to all the other areas of our life that make up our life. And there's great joy to be had in that. So when it comes to balance, it's often the scales, it's often this work-life balance. I like to think of it as life balance rather than work-life, because then that encapsulates everything. Work is only part of it. Yeah, it can be a big part of it. We can make a big difference. It's important in terms of income, finances, and purpose. And yeah, we might spend a lot of hours there, but it's not the be-all and end-all, and it's not the only thing that can bring us joy and happiness. Remember, when we come back to our extraordinary life on your terms, what's that made up of? So the first part is about kind of just challenging that a little bit. So we've kind of done that. So what I want you to do is really think of it not necessarily as scales where we're just trying to balance two sides, but to look at it more like a wheel with different spokes. And we've got one here, and you've got one in your resources as well. And we're going to go through this because this represents more fully our life. Now, there are different versions of this. This is called the Wheel of Life, and you can have a version where there's 8 sides, there's 8 segments, there's 12 segments on this one. There's all kinds of different ones. So we're using 12 because we can really refine some of the areas, and you'll see what I mean in a minute. But you'll suddenly realize, wow, my life is this rich tapestry. And the value in this is that we then start looking at it and going, well, how much time am I spending there? And actually, this is really important to me, but I'm not spending that much time there. And maybe that's the thing that feels missing, because sometimes our life can feel a bit out of kilter. Have you ever felt like that? Sometimes it's like there's something very specific that's happened, and that's what we're feeling like we are. But sometimes you're just like, I don't know what it is. Ever had that? I've certainly had that. You go, I'm not sure. So then using a model like this, a framework like this, can then help us identify, that's what it is, because I'm spending a lot of time over here, but kind of neglecting these areas. Not on purpose, but by definition of me spending time over there. So this is what this is all about, the wheel of life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through each of the segments, and you can put all the segments, you decide where they go on the wheel. You be creative. You decide where they go. I'll just go through the segments, but also bring them to life a little bit more in terms of what they mean. And they should be self-explanatory, but it's good to kind of go into this depth, because again, we're going to get honest about each of these areas. And we're actually going to put them into a little score, because this wheel here, if you look at in the middle, if you think that that's kind of 0, so like score 0. So if we were talking about finances, it's like nothing. Like you've got nothing in the bank, there's nothing at all, right? It's not like you've got £2, it's like there's nothing. But right up to 10, where it's like you feel wealthy, abundant. And again, that doesn't mean that there's a gazillion zeros after your bank account. It just means that you've got enough and you feel wealthy. You feel like you can do what you need to do and you want to do. So this is a scale. I just want you to get your coloured pens out and just see where you are on this. So we're going to go through each segment and then rate it. Be honest about it. Be clear about it. And then we're gonna we're gonna have a look at how your wheel looks and how rounded it might look, or it might look completely different. So let's go through the first one, and it's something that always comes to mind quickly, right? Work and career. Okay. So this is, again, remember I said 50-50 and work-life balance? Well, work and career is one segment of your life. If you took that, we did the calculations. If you took the work-life balance 50-50, it would mean that work was 50% and all other areas of your life was 4.5%. So if I without giving too much away, if family is one of the other segments, is it worth 4.5% of your life? That seems a little harsh, right? So this is why we then step back and go, actually, work and career are one segment. Now it's an important one. It does give us a sense of purpose. It allows us to make a difference. There can be a sense of team and community. People, the work they do it for different reasons. And the more, and you know this, the more fulfilling, the more purposeful that work is, the more joy you have, the more you want to be there. But if it's sucking the soul out of you, it's not a great place to be. But you've got to have a look at it and go, well, work and career, where am I? And just, think of it as, like I said, 0 in the middle, right through to 10. At the outer edges, how are you feeling about work and career? Is it lighting you up? Are there some good elements, or are there some not so good elements? You might be kind of like, well, actually it's a little bit in the middle. I'm like a 5, kind of in the middle in that one. Because I do love this stuff, but with all this. And some people, when it comes to work and career, because of the very nature of what they do, they don't think of it as work. Like, I spent 20 years in the corporate world. That was work and career. That was ladder climbing. What I do now, I don't think of it as work. I don't think of it as a career. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be able to share and light people up and help them on their journey, overcome what's getting in their way and achieve what they want to do and improve and change. It's a purpose. It's a passion. And some people, when it comes to work and career, that's how they describe it. How do you describe it? Now again, if you need to pause me just to grab your thoughts, just to write down what are you thinking about work, what are the different elements, what justifies that score, then please do with each of these segments. Don't feel like you just got to race through it. Really give it some thought, give it some honesty. So that's work and career. So that's one element. So what's another element that we can look at? Well, money and finance. Let's group those together, right? Because they can be one and the same, but also money and finance can come from all different areas. Money and finance, dare I say, the biggest cause of stress in the Western world. So it is quite an important one. And as much as we may not like it, there are bills to pay. There are taxes to pay. But again, it's the meaning that you give to that. Because if you think, oh, well, there's bills to pay, well, maybe it's, but I get to pay for the internet, which gives me access to more resources than anybody has had in humankind before me. Some people say, oh, I'm not where I want to be because I haven't got resources. Literally, on this equipment that you're watching this on, you have got more resources at your fingertips than anybody that's come before you. Just wrap your head around that for just a second. It's what you then do with those resources, how resourceful you can be to improve, to change, to achieve things, to craft opportunities, to take opportunities like you have with this, investing in yourself. So money and finance, they are an important aspect. So again, just have a think about, well, what does it mean to you? Where are you with that? Maybe you're struggling a little bit. Maybe you're quite abundant. Maybe you've got that money and you're making a difference with it. And it's foundations and charities, and that's a really important part. And you're using that resource to be able to do that. Or maybe it really is a struggle. Maybe it's just in the middle, and it's okay. But where are you? Like I said, this one, when I speak to a lot of people, this one is what stresses a lot of people out. And often because they feel like they don't have enough. And sometimes there's a factual, they're really struggling. And sometimes it's just the perception, the expectation they have of themselves of where they think their finances should be. Not necessarily that they are struggling. So again, just be honest about this one. Where are you with this? How does it make you feel? Well, for some people, I mention this and you get this sinking feeling in their stomach. And for others, it's like, oh yeah, what is it for you? I can't tell you what it is for you. Maybe just pause, just write some stuff down on this, put it on your wheel, and then just jot some notes down about, oh, how do I feel about that? How big a part of that is that for me? For some people, earning money is a real driver. It's a real thing for them. It's what their purpose. And for other people, it's like, it's just the byproduct of what I'm doing over here. And what's more important is this thing that I'm doing over here. The money side of it isn't that important. Where are you? So, what's the next one that we can look at? Love. Your partner. Your intimate partner. Where are you with that? Now, I appreciate some people have got partners and some people haven't. So what's your view on this? How important is this? Where are you with it? If you have a partner, how much time are you really spending with them? Quality time with them. How much do you talk about how you're feeling, how they're feeling, what's going on in their world? Have you planned a future together? This stuff that we're doing now, have you planned it together? What's that relationship like? Where would you like that relationship to be? Again, just get honest. There's no judgment here. This is just a sense check. Right now, where is it? Because then from here, we can then see what you might want to improve or change. But this is that rich tapestry of life. This is an important element of your life. Or for some people, if it might not be an important, you might not have a partner, and maybe that's not important to you right now. Just be honest with yourself and give yourself a score, get your coloured pens out. Where are you? And jot some notes down. Pause me if you have to. Where are you with that? Be honest. Most people are honest, especially when they've got a partner. There's usually more that they could do. There's more that they would like to do. They'd like to be a better husband, a better wife, a better girlfriend, a better boyfriend, a better partner. Just kind of defining, well, what does that mean? So, love, partner. What's another segment that we can use and we can look at? Relationships, family, so then extending this. So this might be your children, it can be your mum, your dad, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunties, your nieces, your nephews. Sometimes it's chosen family, right? Somebody's blood family and there's chosen family. So when it comes to relationships and family, where are you? How important is that? How big a part of your life is that? A lot of people with children, it's a massive part of their life. But I can tell you now, from a lot of the conversations I have and the events that we run, they don't feel like they're given that enough time. They're not giving their children enough time and space and being present with them very often because they're working long hours, working harder and longer, trying to make the money, but at the detriment to their intimate relationships and their immediate family. So, where are you with this? Really important that the people in our lives, and as I said before, the people we surround ourselves with is so important to the quality of our life and our joy and our happiness. And very often, one of the things to point out with this is just about being deliberate and intentional with your time. So maybe you can't spend every waking hour with your family, but the time you do spend, it's intentional, it's carved out, and you're present, fully enjoying it, experiencing it with them. If we're honest, a lot of us, sometimes we get guilty because we're all up in our head and we're still worrying and stressing about this thing, or we're thinking about this over there, we're not really there. And then the weekend's gone, and then it's like, oh, I have this time, but then I don't feel, and then you feel guilty, and then you feel regret, and it's like, God, we don't need that in our lives, right? So where are we with this one? So what else is there? What else? Another segment for us to have a look at. Health and fitness. Physical health and fitness. Where are you? And this crops up so often. People want to be fitter. They want to be healthier. Very often, as we're going to go through this program, you'll see how people are not specific enough about what that actually means. So they make a New Year's resolution and go, oh, I want to be fitter. 2 weeks later, they're not doing anything and it's all falling apart. Why? Well, they haven't got honest about where they're at, first off. They haven't got clear about the outcome they're looking for, and they haven't gone down in the deep, passionate why. They certainly haven't slayed the dragons that's going to get in their way. Spoiler alert, that's what we're going to do today. But health and fitness, you can have all the money in the world. You can have a loving family, but if you don't have the health, can you really enjoy it? Yeah, I know a lot of people, they seem to have an awful lot of resources, but they've neglected their health because they've been focused on this and that, and they're now in a place where they're not enjoying life. Life is difficult, life is hard. They can't do the things, they can't go on the experiences they want to because they physically can't. How important is this one to you? Where are you now with it? And if you're doing great things with that, if it's a priority for you, fantastic, go you. Maybe if it's been on the back burner for a little while, but it's the thing that's been niggling away, going, oh, I really ought to do something about that, but life gets in the way, and we go down that river and we're getting pushed from pillar to post, and it's that thing, oh yeah, I'll get to it at some point, but you haven't. Maybe this is an area you might want to focus on. It doesn't mean that you're going to be running ultra marathons in 2 weeks. It just might be that you might want to run around the garden with the kids without getting out of breath and be able to hold them above your head. There's a very different reason why, and there's a very different how you go about that. Where are you now? Write this one again. Pause me if you need to just jot some stuff down. What's important to you? What justifies that score that you're giving yourself right now? So, health and fitness on the physical side. Next one, next segment. Emotional well-being. This is the beauty, again, this is the beauty of having 12 spokes on this wheel. We can separate that kind of intimate relationship with the rest of the family. We can also separate our physical health with our emotional health. They are so important. Now, yes, they're related. And this is something that I am obviously very passionate about, given my life story. I know how it is to just, again, when you feel out of control, when you're getting pulled from here to there, when you're meeting everybody else's expectations, and you've lost yourself, you lose your self-esteem, you lose your confidence, you lose your purpose, you lose what on earth lights you up, what you're all about. This is the mental health, and what are we doing to help ourselves? Are we constantly in a stress state, or are we regularly stressed? Are there patterns of stress or overwhelm? What are we doing about them? If we just accepted them, oh, it's just how it is. You know, I've got this family situation, I'm in this job, at this level, it comes with the territory. Stress and overwhelm is not a badge of honor. I lived that life for you. Trust me, it is not the tax you have to pay to live and work in the 21st century. So where are you with your emotional well-being, your mental health? Which means so many different things, but where are you? And again, please pause and write down where it is, and if there are regular patterns, you go, well, if I think about this, actually, yeah, if I was really honest, I spend quite a lot of time worrying. It's like, right, well, we might need to look at that then. What are we worrying about? What's in our control? Again, what are we focusing on? Because if we focus on stuff that's out of our control, then it makes us feel small. It makes us feel like we can't make a difference. It affects our quality of life. Outside world dictating our quality of life and our happiness. This is where it all comes in. So where are we with your emotional health, your mental health? So another segment, let's rattle through these. Friendships. So yeah, we've talked about family. What about that extended network of people? Our friends. I mean, very often what you'll find is that, and I tell you what, not even a general example from other people, my own personal example. So when I came out of the corporate world, obviously everything was out of balance. Otherwise I wouldn't have been in that mental and physical state that I got to. So what I worked really, really hard on was having purpose and passion, coaching, mentoring, training, sharing my life lessons. That's everything that I base everything I do on is my life lessons, my lived experience. I don't share anything that I haven't used myself. So that was really, really important. I tell you what, that gives you massive purpose. It gives you massive confidence because nobody can take that away from you. Because you've done it, you've been there, you've got the t-shirt. You know what works, you know what doesn't work. That was really important. So I really threw myself into that. And I wanted to make sure that my family were balanced. I wanted to spend more quality time with my family because that had been sacrificed very heavily during my corporate days. So I wanted to address that balance. So all of a sudden I was more passionate and purposeful about work, and I was spending more quality time with my family. Fantastic. But what I discovered over time was this was at the detriment of my friends, my friendships. And it became ever more clear to me that it was so important. I just wasn't spending time with friends I've known for decades. Some of these are childhood friends, and we've always got each other's back, but man, we just weren't, not even phone calls, let alone actually meeting up in person. And this became a real thing for me, and it was, right, okay, here's an area of my life I now need to work on. And so we did, and it can be tricky at first, but we started carving out time. We went on walks and we went over the hills and we watched movies, and all of a sudden we're together and we're lighting each other up. How important to you are friendships? Where are you right now? Again, there's no judgment here. Please don't judge yourself. This is just how it is, and if we understand it, if we're honest about it, then we can do something about it. This is the beautiful thing about being a human being. Again, what we focus on, do we think we're trapped and nothing can change? Or do we think, hey, I've got air in my lungs, blood in my veins, which means I'm alive, which means I can make a choice, I can make a decision. In an instant, I can decide to change direction in my life. I can work on this thing, and I'm going to do that right now. Enough is enough. This is what this is all about. This is what this whole program is about. This is what the live event is about. Staring those things in the eye and going, right, I'm doing something about that. Maybe for you, this is one of those things. So where are you? Pause me if you have to. Write down some notes. Friendships. So what else? Is there another segment? It feels like a lot, because it is a lot. Can you now get a sense of, wow, when he said rich tapestry of life, I wasn't quite sure what he meant. And I thought that just felt a bit airy-fairy. But can you see now, when we just look at work-life balance, work and family, actually there is so much more to it. But if we're not deliberately intentionally spending any time in these areas, then we're going to feel a bit out of balance. So what else have we got? How about some fun and entertainment? Who wants some fun, right? You want some fun? That's like good. I sure as heck like fun. I sure as heck like entertainment. I can tell you now, if you're working really hard, working long hours, how much fun and entertainment outside of that work are you having? How much time do you actually have? How much mental capacity, emotional well-being do you have to actually engage in that? And you kind of start putting these things together. The fun you have with friends, like that example I just gave you. So we were then going out and doing stuff that we love. We were going out for walks. We've got to see the hill. There's nothing better than going up to the top of a hill or a mountain and just looking over the world. It gives you perspective like nothing else can. We started doing the stuff that lights all of us up, and we all realised that we were all neglecting that. And we all got massive benefit from it. And sometimes it's with others, and sometimes it's with yourself. You might be a gamer. I love gaming, right? And sometimes that's with other people online or in the room, and sometimes it's just by yourself. Maybe it's just reading a good book. Maybe it's watching your favourite series. It's just a bit of escapism, it's a bit of fun. Maybe it's a sport. I love climbing and snowboarding and skydiving, and I love the extreme sports. I love the extreme stuff. It's kind of where I smash through boards and break arrows, right? But when I'm doing those things, man, it lights me up. But I got to deliberately, intentionally schedule that stuff in, otherwise it doesn't happen, because life is busy, right? Even if you've got great purpose and you've got great families, you've got to still make time for these things. So how important is this, and how much of it are you getting right now? Pause me if you have to. Write some stuff down. Where are you? Just rate yourself. You're like, oh my goodness, my life is full of fun and entertainment. In whatever I do, it's amazing. I'm a 10. Or it's like, geez, actually, Martin, I've been focusing so much on this. You're right. It's no wonder I feel like, I just don't like having fun anymore. I can tell you now, I know what that feels like. That ain't fun. And you've got to do something about it. You've got to address some of the challenges you've got to then start putting some of this stuff in. So where are you with fun and entertainment? We're nearly done. But we've still got a few more. So what could they be? What's the next one that we can look at? What about growth and learning? Oh, that's an interesting one. For a lot of people, they don't naturally think of this. Now, it was a training for another time, but everybody has 6 human needs that kind of need to be met. And some of these we meet deliberately and intentionally, and some of them, they just happen. Growth and learning is one of our 6 human needs. Look, if we're not growing, we're like stagnant. By the very nature of us being human beings, we are constantly growing. We are constantly learning. There's always stuff around us. But maybe we're not doing it deliberately and intentionally. Maybe we're just letting life happen to us. And we're just all busy and busy. But when was the last time you learned something new? A new skill? Learned something that could help you? You're here right now because you're one of those people. You've identified that, hey, there's something I want to improve, change, achieve. And this looks like it could help. This extreme confidence breakthrough experience, the home edition. This is something that I might be able to just go through and really get some value from. This is growth and learning. This is what you're doing right now. I love it. This is my world. Personal development, growth, learning. I'm doing it all the time, deliberately, intentionally. And then I share it. How important is this one to you? How much of it are you deliberately doing? Now you can give yourself a big tick in the box for doing this right now. Where are you with this? Because if we're not growing, if we're not learning, like I said, you stay stuck. And I tell you what, in my experience, when you're not growing, learning, moving forward, you actually rarely stay stuck. You kind of go backwards. Things get worse. You kind of go inwards. You see the world differently. You see yourself differently. So where's this one? What else? Another segment for you. Contribution. Contribution. Now this is an interesting one. In a lot of the one-to-ones that I've had with clients over the years, from people all over the world, and things are out of balance. And yeah, they might come to me initially and it's stressful and it's overwhelming and we tackle that and they need more control over their workload and their time and all that kind of stuff. They need that. But invariably what happens is we identify that contribution is a really important thing to them, but they don't feel like they're doing it anymore. Now you can contribute through work, but very often what it is, well, I used to volunteer at the old people's home, or I used to volunteer at the craft fair, or with the school, or there was the homeless shelter down the road, or the animal shelter down the road, and I just used to contribute. And sometimes that's contributing your time. Sometimes that's contributing your finances or your resources. what's happened so many times in the one-to-ones that I've had, we look at that and they say, oh, this is such an important area of my life. And I used to do this, but I've got so busy I don't. And that's the bit that's missing. I'm missing that spark, that thing that lit me up. You look at that and it's then one of those things that they then focus on, get clear on, get passionate about again, and just make some small steps towards it, and all of a sudden, they feel like they've got better balance in their wheel. Contribution, how important is it to you? Pause me if you have to, just give some thoughts about where it is right now for you. And you might, like I say, you might contribute in different ways. Some of these other areas, you might feel that there's contribution there. Brilliant. Give yourself the credit for that. Don't think of it as something separate. Give yourself that credit. And maybe if it's not, okay, how important is it to you? How much of a difference would it make to the quality of your life and your happiness, your joy, your purpose? What else have we got? Community. Another segment on the wheel. Community. How important is this to you? So yeah, we've got our intimate relationships, we've got our family, we've got our friends. But what about the community at large? And this could be your neighbours, it could be literally your street, or your community, your town, your city, your village. It could be the community that you've got in a society or a club. It could be the community you've got in terms of where you work. Maybe it's a real sense of community there. What does community mean to you? One of the things one of our 6 human needs is connection and love and just feeling like we belong somewhere. A lot of people, when they feel like they feel lost, it's because they just don't get that sense of belonging anymore. They haven't got the connection in their life. Again, I know that from my 20 years. I just felt like I didn't fit in. I did a great job, otherwise I wouldn't have gone from that marketing assistant right through to somebody with those kinds of responsibilities. But I never felt like I fitted. And so there was a real disconnect in terms of my values and my sense of who I was. And it took me getting really, really ill to actually figure out that I needed to do something about this and give me the confidence to do something about it. In fact, it turned out I had to do something about it because my health was so compromised. Nowadays, I find the people. And again, this can be in person or can be use technology. I've got some incredible communities around the world that I'm a part of. We've got our own Extraordinary Life community, which is an online community where we help you with how to live your most extraordinary life. It's like an online community for this. Plus then there's so many other people that I'm connected with my mentors and my coaches and the communities that they've built. So it's like-minded people that just want to be better and do better in the world, make a difference. Tell you surround yourself with those kind of people, your energy goes up, quality of life goes up. So what does community mean to you? What does it look like? Where is it right now? Again, who are you surrounding yourself with? Do you feel like you've got a sense of community? Do you feel like you've got a sense of belonging? And if you have got that, are they the right people for you? Are they the kind of people that champion you and lift you up, make you better? Or maybe they're the people that are dragging you down. Where are you with community? So, next one, final segment. You should have one more segment on your wheel. Spirituality, mindfulness. And this means something different. It's a bit like an extraordinary life. It means something different to everybody. So this may well be a particular religion, a particular faith. It could be faith in the universe. It could be knowing that there just is a greater power guiding me, that there is something. Certainly for me, it is. I just looked at the sky. I looked at the sky. Hey, look, it's like a live event. That's okay. So for me, I've kind of mastered the meanings in my life. Whenever anything happens, I just look to the sky and say, okay, what are you trying to teach me? What do I need to learn from this? So I don't feel like, I used to feel like it was just everything was done to me and I had no control and being punished and all that kind of stuff. But now I just look to the universe and say, wow, what can I learn from this then? This happened for a reason. That's spirituality. As much as any other faith or religion, but what does it mean to you? Maybe it's about mindfulness, maybe it's about just being able to be still. To be still. Just look at the world. Absorb the world. The beauty of the world. Maybe it's you sat on the top of a hill and you're looking out and you're just counting your blessings. And you're seeing all those troubles, all that rushing around in your day-to-day life. You just see that, wow, this really is life. And it puts it into perspective. Some people, it's meditation and all manner of things. But what does it mean for you? And again, I have these conversations with people, and this is really important. But they're not deliberately and intentionally finding time to incorporate it into their days, into their weeks, into their months. And then they wonder why they feel so frazzled, because they just haven't had that time to connect at a deeper level with what lights them up, which gives them purpose, which gives them calm and stillness and faith. Where are you with this? How important is this to you? How much time you spend in there? Give yourself a rating as to where you are with this. Give yourself a sense of that. So this, welcome to the wheel of life, the wheel of your life. What a journey we've been on. We've gone from work-life balance to the rich tapestry of your life. And look at all those different things that we can influence, that we can embrace, that we can improve or change, that we can relish. It really is an extraordinary life when you look at it as an extraordinary life. And when we can give ourselves some gratitude for this, for the things that are going well, the things we have, the opportunities we have, it can change everything. So, with this in mind, beautiful will. Again, please, if you've still got notes, you go, oh God, go and write this down. Just pause me, and just go for it. I won't be offended. In fact, I won't even know. So what this is about, just taking this to the next level. When we look at your life, it's what it says. It's not the destination. These things are always changing. So when you've looked at your wheel of life like it is, and you've kind of scored it, if you like, if you connect towards that, what does it look like? What does that wheel look like? Does it look like Ireland or Italy? Or does it look a little bit more rounded? Does it give you a sense of, I was kind of feeling a little bit out of kilter. I kind of see why now. Because I've got all this stuff over here that I'm kind of happy with, but kind of neglected these things. In fact, I hadn't even really thought of it like that. This is the beauty of the wheel. It doesn't solve all your problems. It doesn't solve all your challenges. What it does, it gives you a reflection in the mirror to go, hey, this is what your life is like right now. And here's some things that maybe you might want to change or improve, or some things that are important to you, but maybe they've been neglected, or maybe the reason why you're feeling so passionate is because you're spending so much time over here. But what does your wheel look like? If it looks like a really lumpy wheel, it's probably the reason why it feels like a lumpy life, right? And the thing with it is it's not about trying to get 10s in every area. It's totally unrealistic. Because by definition, if you're spending more time over here, deliberately and intentionally, then something else may decline. But the really important thing is that you've made a deliberate and intentional decision to focus on that. You haven't just jumped in the river and you're just going down and drifting and getting pulled from pillar to post, hitting the rocks, hitting the bank, and just like, oh yeah, whatever. When it comes to life on your terms, which is what we talked about in Extraordinary Life, It's about looking at every aspect of your life and then making deliberate and intentional decisions to do something about it, to spend time in that area, fully present, and embracing that and enjoying that. So it's a continual journey. And the reason we say it's now is because this can change. This could change this afternoon. You could have a work conversation this afternoon that could really change your score on work and career. True? Right? You could have a conversation with a friend or a family member, and that could change your score, how you feel about that area in that time. Something can happen with your health, your well-being, right? I've survived 2 car crashes. Well, the aftermath of those car crashes hit my physical health and my mental health. Things can change very quickly, but again, it's then what you focus on and the purpose and the meaning that you give to it as to going forward. What does it mean? Well, it probably means I need to just take stock, look after myself more. Cool, I'm going to do that. So it's constantly changing, be it this afternoon, be it next week. And this is also the beauty of this program, because we've now got honest about your life right now, and we're going to go on and get clarity on the outcomes that you want, and we're going to slay the dragons getting in your way and all that kind of stuff. But what you can use this at any time for anything, because you might then get progress in 3 months' time. You're going to focus on something, make some changes, improvements, you're going to get that momentum, it's going to be really exciting, you're going to have that confidence, and in 3 months' time you're like, oh, that's rocketing. Actually, there's this other area that I want to change, I want to improve, I want to concentrate on. And you come straight back to this and you go, right, let's go through the process again. Let's start with the wheel and go, right, look at this, and right, okay, so this is kind of why, right, fine. And this is where I want to focus on, and then you can follow all the steps. Because in 3 months' time, when you've got momentum on this thing that you want to improve, change, or achieve on, after today, well, you're going to be in a different place, different opportunities. You're going to have a different way of thinking, different choices are going to be available to you because you're now 3 months further forward, having made those improvements and changes. So this isn't a stagnant thing. This isn't something that just doesn't change. And that's an important part of the wheel of life. It keeps moving and evolving and revolving. And when things feel a little bit out of kilter, come back to it. Come back to it and reflect and review. And it gives you that honesty and indeed that clarity that you need. So to wrap this up, so I know we've covered a lot, right? I hope you can pause in so it's not been too overwhelming. But now you've got a really honest view of your rich tapestry of life. I want you to do 2 things. First thing, having now looked at your life, I want you to write down 5 things that you're grateful for. Because yes, we're going to focus on the rest of the program on the thing that you want to change and all that kind of stuff. But right now, in this moment, it's really important, now that you've looked at your life, what are 5 things? You can write more if you want. 5 things that you're grateful for. You've got 12 areas of life. And I'm sure that you could find something to be grateful for in all of those things. Even if it's something that's really low, that maybe you want to improve. It's like, well, I'm grateful because I can. Like I said earlier, I've got air in my lungs, blood in my veins. I've got the opportunity to change that. I'm grateful for that. Because the moment that stops being a choice that I can make, well, I'm probably not around. So I'm grateful for that. Because as far as I'm alive, then, hey, we can make choices, decisions, we can be better, do better, make a difference. We can address the areas on the wheel of life, your wheel of life. So what areas are you grateful for? You can tap into family, your purpose, your health, your well-being, your community, your friendship, all those rich areas. Just give this some time. With 5 things, and if you need to pause it right now, pause me, that's fine. Go and write those 5 things down, and if you're on a roll, just keep going. Because gratitude is such an important part of your extraordinary life. People who feel like they're living an extraordinary life, gratitude is a massive part of that. They're looking at all the positives. They're looking for what's going right and why things have happened. And that they're joyful for that. They're thankful for that. And even if things don't go to plan, they'll still be grateful because it's about what they've learned so that they can be better next time. Or they know what to avoid. They look at it in a totally different way. So let's start now with your extraordinary life. What are you grateful for? And the second thing I want you to do, which then we're going to focus on going forward, is now that you've looked at your life, and I said earlier, you might have had something in mind already, and that might now be completely cemented, or it might have changed. But what is one area in which you want to improve? You want to change. You want more achievement in. What's one area that you would now like to focus on to improve? And you don't have to have all the answers. You don't even have to have all the details. We're going to go into that in the next session. But right now, identify that thing. Identify it. And from what we've done, like I said, it might have cemented it. So you might now have even more passion about it because you might see the impact it's having on these other areas. Or you might see why it's been neglected. Get really clear. Identify one main thing, one main area that you'd like to improve. And then we're going to go deeper into that into the next session. Thank you for playing full out with this. I know it's a lot, but I hope you got massive value from this and you can suddenly see the rich tapestry of life that you have, your extraordinary life. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next section.